Right now, I want you to really think about stopping trying to impress others. So often we find ourselves in these situations where we are really just not doing what's right for us. We're trying to impress people. All the time we're trying to impress someone about who you are, what you think they see you as, rather than being who you truly are. And it's almost, but trouble is when you do that, it's like they're imprinting themselves on you, whatever scenario that may be. So for example, and it happens in society wherever you go, doesn't it really? So let's imagine you're trying to go for a job interview and you're trying to impress yourself upon them what they want you to be. And you think, well, that's not really me. For example, you might go there, you got to go this big sales pitch about how wonderful you are and how you can fit into the organization, what you can do. When really, deep down, you're probably thinking, I don't believe a word of this, but I have to go through this rigmarole, these dancing to their tune, just so I give myself the possibility of being employed by a certain company. And it may be you're out with your friends where you're going out and they all want to get sort of like drunk and out there nuts. We've all been there, I've been there, but deep down, everything this is really stupid. But I need to do it because I to impress my friends so I can fit in. Don't want to be the boring one who sits out and doesn't fit in or whatever. And so it comes to us really to sort of like think to ourselves how we can change that. And how many times are you dancing to somebody else's tune? They're telling you what to do, and quite merrily you feel, well, I kind of guess I need to do that because otherwise, if I don't, I might be seen as boring, not fitting in with everybody else, following the program, and just be there like a nodding dog, and saying, "Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll dance to your tune. It make me look silly, but I feel I need to." And the problem with that is, whilst you're in that scenario, you'll never really find true happiness because you're not finding your way to be true to yourself, if you know what I mean. Fitting in is what we try and do, isn't it? We try to fit in. We want to, there's a great big jigsaw, and we want to adapt. We say, oh, yeah, I need to fit into that jigsaw of my sphere of influence. And so you do so, because it, you tell yourself it feels right. It feels right to you to fit into that sphere, but deep down, you're probably thinking, this isn't really me. Imagine you're in a job and your job may be to pull someone up for being a minute late, and you think, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. But if you're in said role, you have to adapt, don't you? Because someone's imprinted upon you that you need to tell that person you've been late. It's not about disciplinaries and all this sort of thing. But deep down you think it's only a bloody minute. And this again is where you've been compelled to impress your superiors and impress upon those beneath you. That is not acceptable. I just wanted to let you know right now, it's how you feel as well. It could be that you do feel that's appropriate, and so you would impress upon that if that's in your belief set. But if it's not, and you're adapting to scenarios, to circumstance, you probably find it doesn't sit within you. And I'm saying you could just stop doing that role, for example. It probably a prerequisite of the job you're doing. You feel, well, I need to sit in, but deep down, that happiness is not going to be there because you have to obey. You find yourself compelled to obey the rules, the norms of society, the rules and norms of your friends when you're out and about um, doing stuff. And if you was to say, I really can't be bothered to go out Saturday night, oh, look at old Gaz over there, boring as anything. But it could just be genuine that you don't want to do it. And we find ourselves so often compelled for society, sort of like expectations, the kind of like friends' anticipation of what you should be doing. You start fitting into their kind of like aspect. But truly, it's not you, is it? it isn't you at all, but you find yourself going along, or you may find yourself, I'm going to go out on Saturday night or whatever, and you're the only one that wants to go to a certain venue, for example, and everyone else, oh, I want to go down there. And you go along with all them because you don't want to be Billy No Mates or whatever. But deep down, you're thinking, oh, I don't want to go there, but I'm compelled to because everybody else is impressed upon you that that's the right thing to do. And it can be quite difficult, can't it, at times when we find ourselves in those scenarios. And it comes to the point where you don't want to be ridiculed, do you? You don't want to be pulled up and someone says like about whatever scenario. Let's imagine you're at work and you're racing around to get your job done because you don't want to be pulled up and oh look, he's so slow, he can't do the job. It's like ridiculing. It's you could have some strange beliefs. I'm not going to knock you for whatever they may be, but you think, well, I daren't say that in public, or to my close family or whatever. They think I'm bonkers, you know. And probably why you're here now listening to me. You think I'm bonkers. That's fair enough. I'll gladly admit to that. But there are things that maybe sometimes that will come to you where you just think like I don't fit in. I'm sort of like to keep my mouth shut because if I really speak what I'm on about, they're going to think like, oh, yeah, this he or she is quite loopy, doesn't fit in. And again, it's that aspect of you not being like made a fool of. You don't want to be made a fool of. Instead of just being yourself, you know, you say what you want to do. So what? They can take it or leave it, can't they? But there's almost like this pressure, isn't there? And it's like an invisible pressure that can be like this thing that just hunches out down our spirit and can be quite suffocating. Um, and here's the rub. Why are you looking to others to make you happy? Think about that. Think about like, you know, adapting to fit in. You think by sort of like adapting to their norms, their what they expect of you, that's going to make you happy because you feel like that's right. That's what's expected. That is who I am. That's what I need to do. Is it though? Is it truly the right way to go? Or is it really a fact that you are in that space of dark, like I said earlier, you dance to someone else's tune. You can't find happiness because it's not you, it's somebody else's happiness that you're obliging to. And it gets quite complicated because doesn't it? Because you can go through so many different stratas in societal norms, for example. Now, I'm not saying you break the law or anything like that, but we are told we need to act in a certain way. We need to sort of like vote in a certain fashion or whatever that scenario may be. And we can never really find that happiness. And we find ourselves in almost in a conflict. And so, how do we resolve those inner conflicts? How do we resolve those situations? And rather than impress, let's express. Let's express who we are, what we're about. And the best way of doing that is to find your creative spark, whatever that may be. If we're being creative, we suddenly find ourselves getting into our flow state. Um, and so many of us find ourselves inhibited from doing that. And let's take it like a drawing or whatever. You may be drawing away and sort of like thinking like, doodle away. And someone says, "Go stop doing that. You've got more important things to be doing than making silly pictures over there." But I don't care for what you're doing. You know, it could be that you may be drawing like something quite simple. Like, here we go. So here we go. Oh, you'll see this. It's a little smiley face. It's a little stick man. Here he is. Look. And you'll say, "Hey, look. Look, I've done a little stick man." And I was, oh, for goodness sake, what the hell is that? But I want to say to you, that's expression. You wanted to draw that stick man. You go for it. And this is what I want to get to across to you as well. Sometimes it doesn't matter how good that kind of like effort may be. Uh, it could be a poem, the most banal poem that you've ever written. But if you want to express yourself in that poem, in that moment, go for it. Do it. Don't listen, be in a state where you think like, I truly can't listen. I can't do what others need to, that I want to do. because it's what people don't expect me to do. I'm supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to draw. I'm not supposed to write. I'm not supposed to dance. I'm supposed to do what I'm told and what I've been kind of like got this straitjacket on where you're constricted and you can't move. There's no wiggle room. Express yourself. Suddenly you have that freedom and just do it without any thought of impressing anybody else. You do it for the love of doing it, and it makes you feel good, or you may find it just makes you feel good. Can't promise that, but when we start expressing ourselves in whatever way is right for you, do it. As long as you're not doing harm to anyone, obviously. Um, and why do you feel the need to express yourself? Why are these needs sometimes where you just suddenly get out on a whim, don't you? You suddenly find yourself, oh, I need to kind of like express myself in a certain way. Let me give you an example. I was looking at on the wonders of YouTube, I saw this thing called a laser engraver, and on a whim, I just got it. I just got it. It was an investment for me. At the time, people probably think, "We got one of them for?" I was a bit weird. But I just saw the chance of bringing a creative flair. Now, remember, I am no artist. Believe you me, you just saw my little stick man. But through that, I found a way of kind of like the art of expression. And, I can make fun little things like this. And now I'm no artist, but I found a way of kind of bringing that to life. So here we go. And it just blew my mind how we could do it. Now, if I would have gone with the impression thing, whether I think like, no, I'm not going to express myself, I'm going to curtail that, I'm going to hold myself in, I wouldn't have done it. I would have just gone along and thought, oh, this and that. And this is what happens when we don't express ourselves. There's opportunities in our life that the universe will present itself to us. We don't go there because we're scared to express ourselves, because we're supposed to be really nice and quiet instead of being bombastic and a little bit louder than what we want to be. And it comes to being true to yourself. And how can you be true to yourself? And I'd like you all now just to take a moment and think to yourself, how can I express myself? Drop into your heart space, put your hands on your heart, and just say, what can I do to express myself, to be true to me, and to find that kind of way of like being in that space, being in that moment, being in your heart space. Drop into your heart space because that can just open so many doors for yourself. And expression is certainly one. If you're expressing yourself truly, you're coming right from your heart. And honor to remember as well, there's only one of you. You are unique. Um, there's not another one of me, thank goodness. Want to be me. And I'm sure they want to be you. You are you. You are totally unique in your own way, your own DNA, your own makeup. And when you remember that and kind of like free yourself of all those chains of sort of like, obviously, everything that goes around you, it's like a pollution to yourself. When you can be free to yourself of that, you can then be that original thing rather than start trying to fit into a program or whatever. Now, of course, there are things that we look at that we can bring into our lives to enhance our lives, we enhance our knowledge, we enhance the things that make us who we want to be. By all means, explore that avenue. But don't be thinking that if you're, for example, you're reading a book, I must do it this way, I have to do it like that. Um, I do this thing called Reiki. Um, yeah, for sure, I'll stay with certain parameters, but I do my own version of Reiki with the healing aspect. And you can do that whatever you're doing, you know, within your parameters that you feel are right and it comes truly from within you, go for it. Because if it's coming from a place of love, how can you do harm to anyone? That is so important. And the final point I want to say is when you express yourself, when you truly express yourself, you do it with love. You love for yourself, the love for those around you, the love for the basically your space and the space you're within. We can express ourselves from love with true freedom, with true vitality. Isn't that just a beautiful thing? I'll just leave you with those thoughts. And please, by all means, if you've got your own comments, I'd love to hear them. I'd love to see how maybe how you express yourself. And why not? Put it in the comments what you do. What is your passion? What is your expression? And I would certainly love to hear it, and I'm sure people would reading it below would as well. And we do so without judgment, but with a place from love. And remember, come from the place of love, guys and girls. Thank you so much for listening. I bid you all sweet adieu. Until next I type. Thank you very much.